afternoon, everybody. Today's topic is on safety aspects of maintenance and construction activities. Now, if we take a look at this picture here, we have a view of a construction site, and I believe this is the construction site for the MRT station in the middle of Kuala Lumpur. And by just one glance, you can see there are so many different hazards on site, right? And it is the responsibility of the owner of the project to make sure that the safety of the workers are being taken care of. And then it's not just from the hazards, also from handling the machineries, because you can see so many different types of heavy machineries. There are the cranes, the case diggers, and then there are all those tanks, sharp objects. So all of this equipment also has to make sure that they are all properly maintained, to make sure that they are in working order, so that they don't cause us future accidents. Okay, so this is why we are going to talk about safety aspects in construction activities and maintenance of the equipment. All right. Now, what are the objectives of doing maintenance work? So employers have to make sure that the workplace, which includes the structures at the workplace, the equipment that's involved, the machines, the facilities, so all of it must be in operating order, and it can be operated safely. And in the meantime, you have to also make sure that the conditions are not declining. So it always has to be maintained. And then you do regular maintenance, because not just to increase productivity of work, but also to prevent any unexpected failure or sudden accident in the future. And in the workplace, not just in the construction site, anywhere, workers are always exposed to many different types of hazards. It can be ergonomics hazards, it can be noise and vibration, mechanical hazards, electrical and radiation hazards, falling and lifting, and also thermodynamics hazards. So hazards are just everywhere around us. Now let's take a look first at ergonomic hazards. Now, ergonomic hazards are actually factors around you that causes an effect to your musculoskeletal system, your skeletal system and your muscles. So the injuries that's normally caused by these ergonomic hazards are like when you have shoulder pains and so on. So those are, your muscles are being strained due to, for example, you overstress yourself, you overexert certain tasks, or you're doing some tasks repetitively. If you repeatedly do the same task, it can cause fatigue to some parts of your muscle or some parts of your body, and consequently can cause injury. Okay. So this picture here, you can see this person has a special support system that supports his body so that he has a good posture, supports his arm, okay, so that he won't hurt his arms. Okay, so there's a lot of technologies available. Now, ergonomic hazards. It is actually the science that is concerned with the fit between the people and the work that the person is to do. Okay, how does that person fit with that job? So it's always that you're putting the people first, taking into account what are their capabilities and what are their limitations. And ergonomics makes sure that the task is suitable for that person. The equipment that he's or she is supposed to use is for her. The information given is enough, as well as the environment around the worker is suitable for each and every worker, because different people will have different needs. or different capabilities and limitations. Okay. So what are the factors that affects ergonomics? So again, as I mentioned, you have to always put the people first. So you have to look at the employee, look at the person's physical aspects, for example. What is the person's body size and what is the shape? Is he tall enough to reach high places? Or is the person small enough to fit into confined space, into manholes, for example, or into a certain suits, a certain protective suit? Does it fit the person? And what is the fitness level of that person? Is he fit enough to carry tasks that involves lifting heavy things? What is his strength? Okay. And also, what is his age? Okay, is he too young or too old to handle the task? And what is that person's posture? Does he has a good backbone? Does he has a good posture to do the job? Okay, so not just the physical aspects, you have to also look at the psychological aspects. Is the person's mental health stable? Okay. Does he have the right personality? For example, if you want to put, if you're looking for somebody to be at the front desk, you don't put a grumpy person there. So you would look for somebody who's cheerful, who smiles, who has a nice personality, for this person to interact with customers, for example. And what is the knowledge level of that worker? Is he knowledgeable enough? Does he have the knowledge to operate heavy machineries, for example? Okay. And not just that, experience also. For example, for a pilot, does he have enough flying hours to be flying or to do certain tasks? Okay. Does he have enough experience to operate a certain kind of machinery? And then we look at the working condition around that worker. Is that person going to work long hours, or is it not a very long hour? Okay, so the working conditions, and then the work environment. Is the environment noisy, or is it a quiet area? Does it have a lot of distraction from the noise? And you also have to look at the furniture, the type of furniture that you provide for that worker. Does he have the right table? Does he have the right chair for it to support the body? Okay, and then is the person going to be exposed to extreme temperatures? For example, freezing temperature or near a boiler. And are there going to be any vibrations involved in any of the tools they're using? Because some tools, they vibrate, and that can cause vibrations to the internal organs of the person, which can consequently cause further damage to the body. And then the work nature. What sort of work is that person expected to do? Is the job a repetitive kind of job? Does it involve any high force or static posture? Do you move a lot, or you just stay at one place for a long time? Is the person going to be in contact with any kind of stress? For example, sharp object, is he going to be dealing with sharp objects? And then the position or the posture of the worker, whether it's in a very awkward position, let's say he's supposed to be lying down while fixing something, or bending in the awkward kind of posture just to tighten a screw, for example. Okay. So you can see that all of these factors still goes back to the person. Okay, it goes back to the comfort of that person and the safety of that person. Okay, so now let's look at example, ergonomics case 1. say a person, Ahmad, he works in an engine assembly plant. Okay, so he assembles a car engine, for example, and he uses a handheld impact wrench, those wrench that's handheld, to fit an adapter to an engine. So his job is just to fit an adapter to an engine, and the line speed or the frequency of him doing it is he has to complete 2400 engines per day. So that's how much engine he has to complete in a day. But the job is a really quick job. It only takes 3 seconds to tighten an adapter. It's just, is that 3 seconds? Okay, 3 seconds. And then he also has to reach out to some parts of the engine. He probably has to reach out a certain one side and then maybe another side. So he keeps on stretching his body because he stands on one side of the conveyor line. So probably he's not able to move to the other side. There's only one space, just a certain space for him to stand. And then he repeatedly stretches his arm in and out, and it constrains his posture while he's tightening the adapter. And then by the end of the day or by the end of the month, he developed shoulder and neck pains. Now, from this situation, what has caused his shoulder and neck pains? And how can it be eliminated? Anybody? What caused his pain? If you look at the case, okay, so one of it is he uses a handheld impact wrench. An impact wrench vibrates. So that is one possible reason why he's developing that pain. He's just using that handheld device that vibrates a lot and causes stress to his muscles on his shoulder and neck. So that can be one. Anybody else would like to try it? What are the other causes that cause his shoulder and neck pain?
He keeps on doing that for a long time.
It's repetitive. It's repetitive, doing the same thing. In one day, he has to complete 2400 engines per day. Although it's only 3 seconds, but he has to repeatedly do it. And also, think about his position where he's standing. He can only stand on one side of the conveyor line, meaning he has to reach out, right?
Static posture.
Yeah, so a static posture, static position, but he keeps reaching out his arm to get to the other parts of the engine. So doing that repeatedly for 2400 times can cause pain. Okay, so let's think of a way how to improve the situation. How can we eliminate this shoulder and neck pains? Any suggestion?
Job rotation.
Job rotation is one. Because he works probably as long hours, he's doing too much in a day, so he can rotate and do shifts with other workers so that he doesn't have to be stressed with too much engines to be done in a day. Another one could be we can replace the handheld wrench with maybe a wrench that is static. So it doesn't have to be handheld. So probably something that can be supported, and it will just maybe it's I don't know, some sort of support so that it has less vibration, or maybe get a new equipment that has less vibration. Okay, and then maybe you can change the setting of where he's standing or the setting of the equipment. So instead of just standing in one place and then he has to keep on stretching his body, so maybe design the area so that he is able to move around so that he doesn't have the static position all the time. Okay, so that could be among the things that can be done to help eliminate these kind of injuries. Okay. All right. So these are the things that we talked about just now. Is the excessive vibrations from the handheld wrench and the poor posture of the worker and the repetitive activity and the modifications that can be done. We can change the hand tool or suspend new tool to support its weight, or use that. Remember the picture I showed at the beginning slide on the support device that they put on the worker, so that it acts like an exoskeletal, so that it provides support to the arm, for example, provides support to the back. Okay, so those are technologies that's available that you can do. And then to modify workplace layout to allow more workers to access the engine from all sides. So maybe instead of him just doing the job, maybe add another person to help out to do to tighten it up at the other side of the engine, and then also to do job rotation so that you can have more workers can have access to an engine. And the ultimate solution with industrial revolution now is to automate everything, right? Automation, get the robots to do it, but then he loses his job. Well, he can be upgraded with new skills to do other things, such as he can be he can monitor the automated part of the system. Okay. Okay, so let's look at another case. Now let's look at an office place case. Let's say Zainab, she's a personal assistant to the CEO. So what she does every day is she answers the telephone calls. You can see that she has a mobile phone on her side, so she's always answering phones, and she also redirects calls. And then she uses the computer, so she has a laptop there. She uses it to make appointments. She records messages, and then she responds to emails. And then by the end of the day, she developed aching shoulder and neck, and then her eyes are also sore, and she always has headaches. So what are the reasons that she has all these things? Anybody?
Lafaz.
Always on the phone.
Always on the phone. All right. So maybe that mobile phone is not a good option for a personal assistant. She might need a proper phone, which has it's a handheld phone, for example. So she doesn't have to pick up the phone, or we put it between her shoulders and ears, and when she does this while writing, right, while she writes down messages, and this can cause a strain on her shoulder and neck. So to have a handheld phone would be good for her. And then another thing is the position of her computer. Her computer, if you realize, is facing the window. So this is not a good position to put your computer, because this can cause glaring, and that glaring from the computer screen into her eyes causes her eyes to sore, because her eyes will have to work more to focus on the computer screen. Okay. And then that's the reason why also by the end of the day she develops headaches. Okay. Anything else that you can add? Maybe her posture?
Posture.
Yeah, posture. Maybe she's not sitting on the right chair. So what her employer can do is to provide her with a more ergonomic chair, okay, for her to sit properly. And then she's also maybe she sits at one place for too long for the whole day. So she could be given some training on how to exercise between work so that she doesn't stress her body by sitting for too long. Okay. All right, so those are the causes. It's the telephone that causes her shoulder pain and neck pain, and it's the glaring from the computer, reflection of the light from through the window causes the sore eyes. Okay. And what we can do is to use hands-free phone, and also as a good employer, it's good to provide regular eye tests for her to check on her health. And then they can rearrange the workstation so that the computer does not face the window or any bright light, and to give her regular training on how to move her muscle once in a while, adjust her chair or change her chair, and then provide regular breaks for her to break the monotony. All right, so when I say that to provide all these trainings, that is administrative controls. So provide administrative control to eliminate these ergonomic hazards. So the things that you can do is to train the workers in the method of doing the work properly, and then to vary or rotate the work tasks between the employees so that one person do not do the same thing all over again. Limit extended work hours, as well as providing mini breaks. So make sure that your workers have good posture. So when you do this, it benefits not just the employee, not just it benefits the workers who have a better health. Okay, it also benefits the company. Because when it reduces potential of future accidents, reduces of future injury and ill health, which consequently will improve the performance as well as productivity, which means good business for the company, right? All right, so basically that's why it's important to control ergonomics hazards.